Welcome back to another week with shenanigans from #1 Australian reselling YouTuber.
Yes, apparently so.
Well, I don't even know why I'm here, because if I've obviously taken the coveted spot, I'm too good for all of you to hang out on a weekly basis. But
please,
needless to say that I've come down from my iron perch and I thought I'd hang out with you all. Yeah. But how are you today, Leanne?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm just happy to be back online with power, and yeah, it's good to be back. And feeling for everyone else that may still be off power. I believe some of our regular viewers may still not have power, and for all those people that have been affected by the bushfires, which aren't all that far from Blake and myself.
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, hopefully, lots of barbecues going around there. So.
Well, I did have to laugh. I did have to laugh at one thing though, because there was a couple that their house burnt down, but they actually sheltered inside the big koala, which used to be a tourist attraction. Yeah. And the big koala stayed standing, and the flames kept away from it and protected the couple. So yeah, cool.
That's good.
I was wondering where you were going with that when you were saying I had to laugh. Someone's house burnt down.
Yeah, no. Well, I didn't laugh at the house burning down, but I had to laugh at the big koala that's been there for years and years, so many years, and used to be quite a tourist attraction. And it still did its job, didn't it?
Well, I thought you were going to talk about reachable. Maybe that someone's hollowed out a big koala and got a bit crazy. That's what I thought the story was going to go.
No,
but Blake, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm all right. Just going through the motions. Got home yesterday from Melbourne, and it looked like someone had thrown a smoke grenade through my house because of the bushfires just down the road. But apart from that, yeah, everything's pretty good. Business as usual.
Well, that's good. The bushfires are a good thing. They keep me entertained when I've got nothing better to do with my life. But
Octo, that's terrible.
I'm
not saying that I like them. I just watch them. So
right,
that's good. Cool.
Yes.
We'll say hello to the chat. Hello, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
See you, mate.
Hey, Rob.
Mary Jo, it's good to see you.
Good morning, Mary Jo. Good to see you.
Morning.
It's good to see you've been a member for a month. Thank you for your continued patronage. Hopefully you're liking the shorts of the videos that you're getting 30 minutes before they go live. Morning, Grumpy Granny. It's good to see you.
Morning.
I made a cake. Hello, how are you?
Morning, I made a red velvet cake.
That's good. Oh, Uncle Wayno's has arrived. It's good to see you, Wayno. He's
good morning, Uncle Wayno.
He's probably getting all his postage ready for the day. Cindy, good morning. It's good to see you. It's been like a week since I seen you last week, Cindy. You'll have to slink back in one time in the future or something along the lines of
yes.
that. Kazzy Blossom. Oh, I can't read. Finally caught the live. Well, welcome. Hello. It's good to see you.
Morning.
And GG. Oh, if GG was hidden in the big zero frame.
Yeah, good on you.
Yeah. The nursing home's got the contingency plan. They've already got a bushfire in the basement. Anyway, I think we're done with the chat for once, Grady. We can finish up early this week. Yes, but I suppose what I do want to put out to the chat is, have you noticed, I noticed Blake and Granny said that eBay was quiet yesterday. Is that across the board? I think Uncle Wayno's drowning in parcels that he's sending off today. So I know he had a pretty good day yesterday. Excuse me.
Well, maybe he got all our traffic.
Yeah, well, it could have been. Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, okay.
Maybe we're just bad resellers.
Oh, that's right. Well, could be. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
I know from most of the people I spoke to, I mean, I had a couple of sales early in the day, and then it was dead all day, and then I got a couple of sales last night, and I know other people had said it was dead most of the day, and they were obviously fiddling again.
Yeah, and what about you, Blake? Did you say you had a quiet day yesterday, or?
Yeah, I had 5 or 6 sales pretty quick in the morning. Like, I woke up to a fair few, and then it just I was like, oh, look out, we're finally gonna have a good day again, and then it just died and didn't get a single one for the rest of the day. So it seems to be pretty consistent.
Well, looks like Wayno's following the daily refinement model of getting his postage out of the way first thing in the morning so he can relax for the rest of the day. That's good to see. Yeah, and I was just saying to the guys before I started the chat is that I sold about 12 Skylanders yesterday to one person, but the thing is, they don't exist. eBay's relisted them on my behalf, and now so that's potentially going to end in heartbreak. But I'll see how it turns out. But I'm not too impressed by that, to say the least.
No, it wouldn't be.
The last 2 days have been horrible. The last couple of days for me, probably 3. It's been very, very, very slow till probably about 7 o'clock at night. Then I'll get a couple of ka-chings. And then pretty much, even overnight, I used to wake up with 6 or 7 sales, and most of them being international. And at the moment, I'm fighting with this lady from the UK over postage for a squishmallow. So that's when most couple of days.
That's when most of mine have been coming is overnight, so I don't even get to experience the cha-ching. I don't even get the satisfaction.
So I'm the opposite. I'd rather not be distracted by the cha-ching. I'm happy to wake up to orders, then I can get them out from there. But like I said, I'm fighting over postage with this lady in the UK at the moment. So we'll see how that plays out. If you want it, pay the postage. So,
yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Good morning, Thrifting Oz Style. It's good to see you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Moving house, I've been listing. I think I've been listing like crazy, and I don't think it really makes a difference to you. Truthfully, you probably have more sales. Not listing at the moment, the way that eBay's going.
I've been doing the same. I've been listing like a madman. I've got nothing left. Every time I get it, I've just been slamming it up, trying to drive something that's been doing nothing. I get more on the days where I list less. So
that's right. I really eBay's been doing something behind the scenes. I'll be quite curious to, especially in the next week or so, to see if the US resellers, when they trickle out, to see what their videos are like and what their sales have been like this week as well, just to see if it's like an international issue or it's just a different thing. Because I've been noticing it more and more in the Facebook groups lately, where people are saying, "Hey, I'm not getting sales. What can I do to get sales?" and all these different things. And as much as I'll probably tie into the video that I'm going to talk about in a second, is that these people are seen as, that these people that are asking questions like that are constantly contributing to other people's questions. Then they go and ask silly questions like, "Oh, what can I do to get more sales?" And if I rewrite my titles, does this help? And all these different things. And it's kind of like you have no idea, unless you've got some sort of, I won't say credibility or some sort of value-adding comment to add, or at least you know what you're talking about somewhat. I'll probably just keep my mouth shut, but I've been noticing that a lot more lately. But speaking about the video that I'm actually currently making at the moment, so I do apologize in advance to anyone that I have called incompetent previously, because this one I've come across literally takes a cake. But granted, I don't think they're a reseller. Well, they're not a reseller anymore because they've been banned off eBay. But yes, there's. I've been. Well, I suppose from my perspective, right? So what I do is plagiarism's, the highest form of flattery, right? So I've been watching a couple of other videos in the similar vein to one I'm doing. So I'm just trying to take some inspiration from them. And they're all basically, saying, it'd be if I was in Leanne's shoes, I'd be very unfortunate if I was, suspended from eBay and all these different things. But this individual that I'm doing the video on, I'm sure he's a nice person, and I'm not pointing it at him directly. There's no redeemable qualities. I can't say I feel sorry for him. Which sounds horrible in itself, but like I said, it will be coming out.
I do have to say, because I watched the video, because that was the last thing I got to watch before my power went out the other day. But even in the first couple of minutes of his video, his attitude towards eBay and selling on eBay, it was like, "I don't like eBay. I hate the platform, blah, 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 blah." And you knew where the video was heading anyway. So why are you on there?
Yeah, and that's right. Like I said, the video that I'm making is not to have even though I do take a couple of swipes at this guy, it's not to bring him down or and I'd hope people don't slither over to his channel and have a go at him from that perspective as well, because that's not the intent of the video. The intent of the video is to bring forward the questions, that bring forward almost like a case study, because this guy he did everything wrong. You can't make this stuff up. But it's eerily similar to what I see on Facebook groups, like Reddit posts all the time. That yeah, well, I'll give you something for nothing. So have an inventory and work out what your inventory is. This guy did have no inventory and he didn't check what his inventory was. And if you've got to cancel orders, and if you're, quite a very low volume seller, which this individual, I do assume so by the virtue of his video, you may potentially, if you want to keep your eBay account, you might have to source it through someone else. Hypothetically, if Leanne sell the book and she couldn't find it, go buy it from Blake, and drop ship it from that perspective. You need to maintain your account health, because there is a good chance that this individual won't be selling on eBay ever again, because once you're done, you're done. There's no way crawling back. So
I think for me too, the biggest thing that I've noticed the last couple of weeks, and I don't know whether it's just because am I actually seeing them that I haven't taken notice of them before, but there just seems to be a rash of people. And whether it's just, I don't know what's causing it, but they have not learned how eBay works. So, if you've noticed that it's on your main Seller Hub page, what your dings for late postage are, or your seller health is, your main things are on there. If you notice your dings getting up, would you not go and check to see what the limit is, like what eBay's going to, really, and he must have had warnings before this.
Yeah, so, giving away majority of my video, so this one's going to get 200,000 views because it's phenomenal, this video. But the thing is, though, that, like I said in the short that I released yesterday, was that it's eBay's maximum before you start getting smacked by the biggest stick that they have is 2%, right? So if you cancel 2% of orders for being broken or out of stock after someone buys them, you're below standard. There's no if, buts, or what. Your listings do not exist. If you type in Nintendo Switch game and you're the only person selling a Nintendo Switch game, it won't come up. Literally they turn the tap off to your traffic, right? So in that situation, what I normally tell people is to go buy a whole bunch of cheap crap that's in demand and flip it. Don't go on AliExpress and buy stuff like Blake does, because that's a bit special. But the thing is, maybe you should buy the razor, Granny. What do you think? Anyway, but what it is, go buy like $1 DVDs and sell them for $5 with free postage or something. I know I spoke against it previously, but this is what you need to do to get out of below standard. Because in the video, what I do say is that you need to sell 400 items or have 400 transactions over a 3-month period. So you want to try and get to that level so you actually get reevaluated on a 3-monthly basis. Because if you have under 400 transactions over a 3-month period, you get assessed on a 12-month period, right? So the crux of the matter is you're either going to be below standard for 3 months or you're going to be below standard for 12 months. If you're below standard for 12 months, your eBay account's dead in the water. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I can't stress enough. You need to, to be very mindful of that. Late postage doesn't really have an effect on your account. I know people in the chat are probably going to throw their arms up in the air. It does bring you back to above standard, but it will not bring you below standard. So it'll still affect your rankings in the grand scheme of things. However, it does not have like a terminal effect on your account like the other ones do. So
what will happen is if you do get over, and I think it's 5%, what will happen is that you will get charged fees. So when your final value fee will actually have I think it's a 5%, perhaps. I'm not entirely off the top of my head. Like, do you remember?
It's a percentage. Yeah, it's 5%.
Yeah, so you get charged more on that final value fee because you have got this late postage rate. So whilst you won't get...
I don't know if it's really late postage. Isn't that if you fall below standard, or is that...
Yeah, it's below standard. So what Leanne's saying is somewhat correct, but not correct enough. So you only attract that penalty, that 5% charge, if you're below standard. Postage won't push you below standard, right? So you're above standard. You will go further down in the grand scheme of things. So in your listing, when you type in Nintendo Switch game, that obviously the top rated people and the promoted listings will float to the top, and you'll be pushed further down the chain. But if you've got a high item not received rate, that also attracts some nasty fees as well. I can't remember what it is. I think it's like 2% or something like that. But I've read so much policy in the last 3 days to make sure I'm ironclad from this individual when he comes back at me swinging with these computer boards. But,
yes, I did. I did get around to watching last night. I watched Brad and Jazz's member live stream that they did, and they did talk about policies. And I did notice that you knew a lot about policies.
That's right. Yes, so I've got nightmare. I close my octopus eyes. I just have to put my tentacles over there because that's the only way I can do it. And yeah, so lots and lots and lots and lots of policy, and it's lots of nightmare fuel. So I'll get back to the chat. If you want good sales, list good stuff. It's not making the sales, then the stuff you're listing is crap. Yeah, and it's also the time of the year as well, right? Like, if you're selling Christmas decorations, you're not going to sell them in February or March. Like, not as you still will make some sales, but it's likely you're not going to do all those different things. So, but do agree that you need to have what the market wants. And like I've said before, is if you want to still Build-A-Bears, go into the Build-A-Bear Facebook group and see what people are looking for and source appropriately and all these different things. So you just need to think outside the box, especially if you've got slow sales. Don't run to the thrift store or the op shop and start taking swaves of clothes off the racks or breakable plates and whatever else is on the racks to try and move your store moving. So
yeah, because I honestly think that there's two things you can do if you feel like your sales are slow. And you can only do what you can do, because if eBay is working in the background and slowing things down, there's nothing you can do. But you can actually make sure that the stuff you've got listed is listed correctly in the right category, that your photos are good, retake any photos that you might need to. And the other thing is, if you do, who can go past it? If you list regularly and consistently, and what you're listing is decent, and your listings are decent, that's the best thing that you can do to drive traffic to your store.
Well, that's right, and that's exactly right. And like, I don't know if Leanne brought up pricing, but I can guarantee you a lot of these people that ask those questions in the Facebook groups are probably trying to sell Uncle Wayno's DVD for $49.99, where the market price is $7.99 with free postage or something like this. And you can't tell them. It's not an arrogance thing, or it's not an ego thing, saying that I'm better than someone else, even though I'll probably make that insinuation in this video that I'm releasing. But the fact of the matter is that you need to be constantly looking, and I'll use my beloved Matchbox cars, because heaven forbid should I mention the S word. Like you need to keep going back to them. You need to keep referencing, maybe on a weekly basis or a fortnightly basis, to see if the market changes. Like, because like I've previously mentioned that I listed an Albie Mangles DVD when it was $65 and they're flying off the shelf. And then I checked back a couple of weeks later, it was like $20 free postage. So,
and that's one of the things I've found doing. Sorry, Blake, doing the end and sell similar on a regular basis. It does allow you to do that consistently. So you're actually, I don't just end and sell similar. I sell similar. I actually scroll down through my list, and I go through and I change anything that needs changing, and I actually have a look at some of the prices. Because, look, sometimes they do go up, surprisingly. But, like there are times the prices go up, but there's also the prices, a lot of times the prices have gone down and changed. So, you've got to keep on top of it.
Well, that's exactly right. And if you're desperate for sales, it might be a case of making your item $1 under market or something along the lines of that. There's different things you can take into consideration, all these different things. Or it could be off pay cycle, like if people get paid today and get paid fortnightly, the likelihood of you making sales to those people 3 days before payday is probably minimalistic. So you need to look at what your customer base is for your items. Like that Pokemon game that I put a short out for yesterday, that I'll probably list that for about $400. Like that you need to know what your market is, and I'm pretending so that you just need to obviously source appropriately and work out what you want to do from there. So.
Yeah,
I'll get off my high horse. I'm such in a mood today. Back to being disgruntled.
Are you disgruntled today?
I'll get into a little bit later when we get some more people in. But geez, I'm
morning, Wendy.
Good morning, Wendy. How you going?
Mood. Hey, Wendy.
That's right. I've stopped coughing as much as I do, but I'm definitely in the mood.
Yeah, you've given me the calamari 19. It's your fault. Through the microphone.
Well, like I said, the amount of times that you've tried to kiss me, I've told you to stop, and this is what happens when you do. 0 sales for me yesterday as well, but a full tub of listings to get put today, improve my sales. I was actually listening to Trash to Cash's podcast yesterday because obviously, I reckon everyone should reach out and watch that because, transparency, it's a big thing over here.
Minutes when they mentioned that Octo's got the #1 YouTube reseller channel.
What's right? That's exactly right. And transparency, we're big on transparency. So I did get brought up that I wear a fish mask, and there's a reason why I wear a fish mask, right? So either you can fall into two categories of beliefs. You can either think that I'm a real octopus, or I'm horribly disfigured underneath, and this is what I look like. So you've been warned. So if you don't want to look, turn your eyes away. But I'm going to show you right now what I look like. So that's why. So I either look like that or I'm a real octopus. So there you go. That's transparency. So not only am I fully transparent now, unlike the #1 reseller in Australia, I am also transparent. So
God. Morning, Bax.
And that's not what put me in the mood. So yes, but morning, Bax. How you going, mate? Christian's online. Thanks again, Christian, for getting me over 1,000 subscribers. Much appreciated, mate. So maybe one day I could do the same for you.
Yeah. Anyone that hasn't watched Christian's latest video, it's very, very good. Look, he does give me a shout out in it, I must say. But that's not the reason it's very good. It actually shows the reality of going thrifting and what can happen sometimes, because a lot of the times that YouTubers don't show when they're having a bad day because they figure, well, there's nothing to show for it. But he does.
That was me yesterday.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. Well, yeah, you were there yesterday, didn't you?
Oh, it was awful. Yeah, I spent like 5 hours in the car and came home with like 17 things.
Drove all the way to Melbourne, hit a heap of stores down there, and came home with 17 things.
And that goes back to what Wayne was saying, right? Blake could have easily come back with 400 things, but it's going to it's going to be crap, right? So he's just wasting his money. He's throwing, pissing it away against the wall. So
if I was the seller that I was 6 months ago, I would have come home with a lot more. But I'm a lot more picky these days. So.
Is that when you're shaved? You look more respectable. Yeah. Is that what? So not to toot my own horn, but have a look at those horrible ASMR videos that I've been doing, and look, when I go through the racks, or have the human go through the racks, there's probably 1 or 2 things that I pulled out from from those different things. So a lot of it's garbage. A lot of it's garbage, and I find, not that it really affects us now, but around school holidays, it becomes very dry in the thrift stores as well, because a lot of kids are out in as well. So that's another area you probably want to start sourcing. If you fall into the death pole camp, make sure to be careful how I said that. So basically, just stay outside the school holidays and source your stuff. If you fall below standard, eBay deems you to be a high risk. Yes. Like with everything at high risk, it's more expensive to maintain. And that's exactly right. So what it really comes down to is a good customer experience. And this individual, like I said, I'm only using him as an example. He did everything wrong. And I was actually watching a US YouTuber.
Perfect example, wasn't it?
Well, that's right. It was almost like a little bow tied around it because it was a present, perfect present. I was watching a YouTuber the other day. I can't remember his name. I only stumbled across his channel pretty recently, but he says when you point fingers, you're pointing one finger out, but you've also got 3 fingers pointing back at you. And I couldn't think of a more perfect analogy. This guy, pretty much. I'm not an eBay apologist. I don't think that eBay is perfect by virtue of selling my Skylanders that I don't have in stock. But this guy was pretty much laying the blame at everyone else's feet bar his own. So
And, look, the one thing I do find confusing in the Facebook groups too is that people will post up, how do you do this? And you can simply say, and there's been lots of people go in there and say, I'm not, I am blowing my own horn because I do lots of tutorial videos, but I do them from a very simple viewpoint so that people can actually understand, if they, might struggle with understanding, see stuff written on the screen. It explains things step by step and they can follow it through. Now, what blows my mind is that other people will suggest to them, go and watch Grumpy Granny's video on, but They don't. And they
No.
still don't know how to do it. And they're expecting other people in the comments to actually tell them how to do it.
That's what I was going to say. It's what really annoys me is that like a lot of people tend to just want everyone to just give them the answers and basically run their business for them. And that it rubs me up the wrong way because, like, I mean, a lot of us when we were starting in that, there wasn't that around and no one really did that. You'd go in there, you'd go in the trenches, you'd stuff up, spend a lot of money, stuff up and learn from that kind of thing. So,
well,
I mean,
and I agree with what Blake's saying, but and I suppose from my perspective, right, like I have no problems helping people. You know, if people reach out to me and ask me questions, if I don't know, I'll say, hey, look, go harass Leanne because I'll just fob them off to Leanne. But
thanks.
But the thing is, the fact of the matter is, if I don't know, I'll wait. I'll just say it as such. I'm not too sure, but speak to Blake because he sells clothes. I'll speak to Leanne because she sells books and all those different things. But I'll more than happy give them my time of day and give them the answer that it was. But when I become very infuriated is when they just bypass the answer questions, but especially in Facebook groups, right? Like I normally see about 6 or 7 people repeatedly, like the normal 6 or 7 people constantly, provide perfect advice saying, hey, look, if you're shipping DVDs, these are the ways I do it. I strongly suggest it from this. And about 3 or 4 people, mimic those statements. Then the person will just, breeze over those comments and go to people that align with what they want. So they're not actually taking the advice on board, or they're not doing all those different things. But like I said, everyone's new, everyone starts from somewhere, and I don't want them to waste money unnecessarily. But the fact of the matter is, they need to take the advice on board. If you're going to ask a question, regardless if you like it or not, or it's not the way you were thinking it was going to go, you need to take that advice and
listen to the answer.
Well, that's exactly right. And I'm finding it more and more on Facebook. And, like I said previously, I'm not going to say the S word, Leanne, calm down. But when I used to sell Lego years ago, is that we used to have not a running joke, but a running statement of sorts saying that, bring in, around January, February, there'll be a lot more Lego sellers because, like you'll see how lucrative it is because all these, news articles and all these different things. But by mid-April, May, they'd be gone. You wouldn't hear from them again because, they realize how hard it is. And there's all these different things. And reselling's a hard gig. It's not. And like what Blake was saying and what Christian's, showing in his videos and what Leanne was saying as well is that you just don't go out to the shops and, pick up, $6,000 worth of products for $15 or something. It's a very rare occurrence. Like, you just need to be realistic. So.
I think the biggest thing is with the Facebook groups and when people are asking for the advice and stuff like that, it's fine to ask for the advice, but they're wanting a certain answer. If they don't get the answer that they want to hear, it just goes straight over. Or they think that people are having a dig at them and stuff, but it's not like that. If you're going to go and ask, hopefully experienced sellers on how they could do something or whatever, expect them to come back and be like, all right, you're doing everything wrong. This is
that's right.
Probably a decent way to help.
If you haven't worked out already, I'm brutally honest, right? Like, if I would write, like I said, I've said it before, is that, if I can see you,
Are you surprised, Blake?
Yeah.
Because
I'm so surprised,
If I can see you in a sinking ship or, basically all these different things, I'm going to say, hey, look, maybe reselling's not for you, or, you'd potentially need to do all these different things. And, the amount of people that jump on, in defense of the person that, like I said, I could have been a little bit blunt and all these different things, but I don't care. Like, I'm sticking up for Granny or all those different things. You're actually doing more harm to Granny by not basically padding to her, her ego or her feelings and all these different things. Business is not about feelings. Like businesses, live and die on a daily basis, right? Like, you need to be very mindful of, what you're doing. So,
and the reason that most, CEOs and stuff are like psychopaths or sociopaths or something like that. It's because it's cutthroat.
Right. But also, I mean, a lot of us when we go in and to give the answers, like we don't want to spend a lot of our time in there la-di-daring and beating around the bush to get to the point. We just want, okay, you asked, here's the answer. Take it on board. So we go in there, we spend a little bit of time we can in there helping, but it's weird.
Yeah, it's starting to drive me off from the Facebook groups, to tell you the truth, and Reddit posts and all these different things where I can contribute to. Like I'm happy to jump into various, I suppose, closed environments, such as the Discords and stuff like that. I'm not saying that you have to pay to get in there, but that I find that the people that have actually, being proactive to join these groups to kind of better themselves, or, I suppose that's a very broad statement, but I'm more inclined to help those people, because more often than not, that they will take it on board, and they will, like I said, I don't care if you enact on it or not, but just don't go, well, I don't like his answer, I'm just going to move on to Blake's because Blake told me what I want to hear. So,
and I don't know how other Discords are set up. So, like, I mean, in ours,
neither does anyone else. We've been banned.
True,
There you
but in
go.
ours, like, everything's set out into different categories. So if you want to look at what stuff that's specific to eBay, there's an eBay section. If you want to talk about vintage clothing, there's a section for that. There's a section for jeans. There's a section for the S word. There's a section for all different things. So if you're looking for information on that, you can actually go in there and you can actually go back and read the stuff that's already in there. And oftentimes you'll get the answers you want just by going back and reading those posts. But then
So
if you need
if anyone,
help, you can ask.
if anyone's confused by what the S words is, it's stilettos. So there you go. I made a cake. Also, retail spending is down across the board, and yes, and that's what I've been alluding to a little bit as well. I'm not going to say the economy's up, down, left, right, and center, because I'm not an economist, right? Like, and if you're taking your reselling advice or financial advice from a sloth that wears an octopus costume, that's on you. So I'm certainly spending less. Most people are cutting back on discretionary spending, and that's even my own Octo led. I'm doing the same. Yep. My sales are slightly up. Yeah, well, mine's a bit different in that respect, but that's only because I've had a bit of time to source and list.
Yep.
Do you run sales very often? I don't run sales.
I do.
You do? And how are they going for you, Blake?
Yeah, I've just launched one like just before the live as well. Because I've stopped, because I did have that patch where I did do the reset. Obviously, I couldn't run a sale and that sort of thing. But now I've completely stopped any and sell similar stuff like that. I can start running sales again, and they've always worked really well for me. I think it's a good way to clear out a lot of stuff and that sort of stuff. It's just a good way to lower the price across the board, and it does attract new buyers for sure.
I'm taking a new tact, and I'm having a go at doing order discounts. So when people buy two, like I've got, say VHS, the single ones that I haven't got in a bundle. So buy two, get one free, and the same with books. So I'm sort of trying that tact as opposed to actually putting an overall percentage discount, because the idea is, like, constantly when you make a bundle, you will get someone coming along and saying, oh, would you split the bundle because I only want that book in the middle. And you don't want to be doing that. So the idea with this is people can go in and actually build their own bundles. And so it's straight postage will be $9.99 no matter how many books or VHS they get, and they can just build a bundle of what they want. But for every two they get one free. Every two they buy, they get one free. Yeah.
And I think that's a perfect thing. Yeah, like I think, like, you need to be constantly evolving your stores, because if you stagnate, you die. That's pretty much the crux of it. So constantly be working out different things. So whilst I don't do sales, I'm going to implement something similar on the Skylander. The stilettos. Where I'll basically do buy two, get one free, and all these different things, just to move a lot of the lower end stock, because I've got tubs and tubs of low end stilettos that I need to move on.
Yeah.
All those tools are there for a reason. I think another one that's been using it is Chris Furlong as well, with his clothing and stuff. But he's just like, if you buy 3, you get 30% off or something along those lines or whatever.
There's all different variations in there that you can do.
That's something that I'll probably end up implementing in my store as well at some point as well, instead of just a straight discount. Because the one I've started running today is just a flat 20% off store wide for the next 2 or 3 days.
And I suppose keep going.
I was letting Octo talk. No, you're all right.
Yeah, well, can I go?
I've got nothing else to say. I'm done.
I actually found out something very interesting with regard to that yesterday, because if you have one of those discount orders, when you go in and send a newsletter out, right? So normally when you go and send a newsletter out, it'll only let you send a newsletter that you haven't sent. You can only send it to people that you haven't sent something to in the last, 2 weeks or something. this, because it was something different, I hadn't sent one of those before, let me send it to like 900 people.
Have you seen any results from it?
Well, I haven't had a look yet.
Yeah,
Perhaps
I normally do a full moon newsletter, and I haven't converted any sales on it through that, and I've been doing that for the last 6 or 8 months. So people constantly write back to me and send me messages saying it's hilarious and they love it, all those different things. But it's like, well, just buy something.
It's not
this
for your
is a little bit different because it's when you actually go into the newsletter, you click order discount. So it's a version of the newsletter that links your order discount sale to them. So what they see on there, and when they click on the link on there, it takes them straight to the page where everything that you've got available in that sale comes up.
So I just do a generalized newsletter. So basically where I bring in new products and all those different things and then do it from that perspective, because this store that I run the newsletter on.
Point, Octo.
Well, the thing is that the store that I do on is quite well off in it's probably the top 10 in the category. So I do have the customers, but like I said, that I just do it purely from my own entertainment and other people's entertainment and convert no sales.
I guess the point I was trying to make was when you do the normal newsletter, you only get to send it to a smaller amount of customers. But when you do this one, if you haven't done it before, it allows you to send it to all your past, people you've sold to, all your followers, or it lets you send it to everyone if you haven't used it before. And I'm guessing if you go into some of the other ones, if you haven't used those before, it would also allow you to send it to, next time I go to do the same thing, it won't. It'll limit it to so many people. But yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be quite curious in the chat before Blake, starts talking again and gets into part 3 of our conversation. If you receive a newsletter in your email box, do you open it or do you just delete it like I normally do? I'll be quite curious to see what
I just delete
22 of the chat. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm not saying that everyone does it. I'm just curious to just like a very small sample size just to what people do.
Even though like I'm friends with Leanne, when that one came through yesterday, I still just unread it, clear the notification. I didn't clear through it, so I just unless it's something that's that is obviously needs to be read, then I'll just get rid of it because I get that many emails. It shits about
and I kind of wonder if that data is fed back through eBay. Like obviously, just say Blake deletes it. I didn't receive it, Leanne. So
there is data there. Because when you go into the traffic, it tells you how many people opened it.
That's what I'm saying. That opened it opposed to just like deleting it straight out. So I'd be quite curious, but maybe they just have like a sunset period over a certain period of time. So, excuse me. If you weren't aware, GG, it's decided by me that you will be doing Grumpy Greedy reads. Where did I come from? When will that be happening? Oh, I have that book back. So that's what I was saying. That's what I was alluding to the other day. So,
do you need someone needs a little bit of explanation? Do they?
If anyone hasn't read that book, it is terrifying to say the least.
I've got a couple books here that I can't be bothered reading that I should send to you so you can read them and I could just listen to you reading them. Saves me having to read them.
It makes a form of audio book, doesn't it? Then?
That's right. Is that eBay for Dummies? Is that the one that you're looking at, Blake?
Yeah, I need one.
Good morning. It's our beloved Karen Kookaburra, the retail worker, nurse / everything else we got under the sun. You've been absent for so long, mate. We can't remember. I can't remember the spring of that.
Yes,
that's right. Self-employment is not for everyone, and that's exactly right. Like I don't want to bunch everyone together because obviously people need to learn, but like I've said in numerous times, is that do further education first. Go to do a TAFE course or go do it like a business community college, or even like business chambers in certain cities have like business 101, for example. So
you needed to go and have a nap, Blake.
I'm just saying he's given all this advice that I haven't done myself.
That's right. But like I said, that's if you've got a business mindset, right? Like you could probably do without that stuff. Like Ethan Rushot's got a course that's out there as well. Like I haven't done it, so I can't comment on it. But if you're not a business minded person, or you don't know what what's heads from tails, potentially look into doing a course like that.
Mm.
You need to be proactive. That it's not just that you just walk into a thrift store, then all of a sudden you're going to be tech and sports and sell $18 million of clothes a year. So just be very, very mindful that you probably, if you need some, polishing up, you probably just need to work out what you need to do. So.
Does a qualification in real estate count? Will that be good enough? Will that help me?
So you got your dodgy facial hair.
Yeah.
Well, how many houses have you sold, mate?
No, nothing yet.
No. He's bought a house.
I don't work in the space.
Well, I could say I'm an evil doctor because I, thought about going to medical school. So that's the same as Blake's real estate license. Morning, Recon Days. Good to see you, mate.
Good morning.
Good morning.
eBay's a roller coaster. I had 3 strong weeks, and this week real quiet. It's not easy. Yeah, and that's exactly right. And that's, I think, was it part 1 or part 2? We talked about multiple streams of income. I think we're going to get to part 19. But you need to start looking outside the box, right? Like, what Blake was talking about, Uber Eats and, menu log and all those different things. Especially if you're full time, that, if you're not listing from 9 to 5 or packaging or, doing stuff that's money generating. So, like if you're sitting on your butt watching Netflix or something like that, just put your Netflix on your phone and go do some menu logs. Just don't get caught by the cops. I didn't say that.
Good advice. That's basically what I do. So,
morning, Bronny.
Morning, Bronny. How are you going?
Morning.
And most of the questions that are asked have been answered a million times previously. It's just the original poster is sometimes lazy, doesn't want to do their own research, and that's right. Like like I said, that we did have. Like, I'm going to be very generic in this question. We did have a certain individual probably about a month ago on Facebook groups who was asking questions 4 times a day. It was almost like to the point where people were getting fatigued from this particular person, and they'd ask her, they'd say, "Hey, look, their answer to your question is this." Then all of a sudden, they almost said their gender. Then they would just go into a barrage of replies and comments and all these different things and start pissing people off, for lack of a better term, and then I haven't seen them since. I don't know if they've been banned or they've just jumped off the reselling bandwagon. I'm not too sure, but
ran away.
Well, look, I did suggest to that person that if they put as much effort into their reselling as they had been putting into their posting, that they might actually do some better work.
But yeah, like I said, no one's perfect, right? But like what Blake, Rob was saying, losing track of who you all look the same to me. Was saying is that you need to do your own research. Like the question's been asked 100,000 times before. Go to the top of the Facebook group and type in, DVDs postage or something along the lines of that, or book postage or something along the lines of that. Go from these different things.
If you do that, if you do your own research and you read what's there, but if there's something in that you don't understand, or you're confused about a certain aspect of it, then ask, because more than happy to help you with that, because you've actually made the effort and you've gone and read it and you've said, look, I read all this stuff, but I'm still just a bit confused about this. Yeah, great.
Yeah, if you're willing to properly learn, people will help you.
That's right. And like I said numerous times, take YouTubers and people in Facebook groups with a grain of salt. If you're talking about tax advice, ring an accountant. If you're talking about business advice, find the appropriate person. Don't go join the Patreon group, or don't go join a Facebook group, or don't go watching YouTubers and all these different things for advice, because everyone's business is different. Like the amount of times that, like I said, that you see people, especially what I mentioned a bit earlier, is that they comment, with authority, like their answers are well constructed, incorrect to say the least. But then, 5 minutes later, they're asking a question themselves, which kind of thinks to yourself, well, you made yourself like you knew everything back to front about eBay a couple of minutes ago. What's going on with this? So, it's like, I'm not trying to dissuade people from asking questions. It's just you need to be mindful of everyone else's time. They're not there for your own personal, just to pop up and ask a stupid question. So but they're entitled. How many letters is that? You need to care for them, stroke their egos, or just do their research listings, pick, pack, ship. Well, Wayno's free today. He said he hasn't got anything on, so maybe hit him out. And ship them out for their, so collect their money and off they go for a latte. And that's, and I think
that's what it feels like at times.
Like I said,
volunteering.
Well, that's right. But it always feels to me that there's factions in reselling. And I don't think I'm far off with that statement. Is that if like one faction, they don't agree with what they say, they move on to a different faction, or they're different different line of resellers and all those different things. But like I said numerous times, that I like to. I think us three, and I speak for a lot of other people as well, are quite transparent. I'm not going to give you some bullshit answer. If you don't like it, you're probably going to run into trouble later on. So
if I don't know the answer, I'll tell you I don't know the answer. Sometimes if it's something that might be good for me as well, I will say, well, yeah, but I'm actually interested in looking into finding that out. But again, I will usually say, that's not going to happen straight away because I've got other things I have to do first. But when I get around to it, I'll let you know if I find anything out.
Excuse me. And I think that the question that I've been bombarded with lately, right, is how do I source, DVDs, or how do I source product X? It's not stilettos. So the people that reach me out about stilettos, it's not those different things. And I've been to three thrift stores or 3 op shops today, and I haven't found any DVDs. What am I doing wrong? And then I normally just palm them off to Uncle Wayne because he's happy in that space. But I normally play with these people a little bit and say, well, what have you done? Or I went to 3 thrift stores. There's no initiative or there's no where they're basically getting off their butt and trying to think outside the square to how to source these things. So
because I mean, because some people just have no idea the amount of kilometers some of us do to source.
Well,
because they might just go in their own suburb,
Yeah, well, that's right. Like, I'm quite lucky compared to Leanne and Blake, with Canberra being quite it's quite contained, right? Canberra's not a big place, but there's probably about 6 or 7 thrift stops or op shops or thrift stores, whatever you want to call them, on my route that I normally go to, and they're quite good, I suppose, lack of better word for English. But with Blake having to drive into Melbourne and pick up 17 items, because that's about a 3-hour round trip, is it, Blake? Or
yeah, so it takes me about an hour to get to the closest one, and then it's like half an hour between all the big ones through there. Like I could go to like the smaller independent ones, but I don't like driving through Melbourne that much, so I sort of just hit the bigger stores where I got more of a chance to find more things, kind of stuff. And it's like half an hour for each of them, and then you got to try and park, and you got to head home. And when I left, it was Preston yesterday. It was because the traffic and stuff was an hour and 56 minutes to get home. So it would have been at least that to get there in the first place. Plus I went out to the side and back. So it would have been about 5.5 hours in the car. And I was so over it. Yesterday was just a bad day for me. I got home and cracked the shits and just like, So,
and it was Valentine's Day as well, Blake. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. Well, I didn't find anything, so I didn't make any money, so at least I didn't get any presents. So,
well, I was about to say, Savers definitely did you over. I won't say what I was going to say. I found that when you do your own research, you can find other tips that you weren't looking for. Yeah, and that's right. Like I said, that there are, I suppose, YouTubers that sprinkle stuff, and that's another thing I find, right, is that I don't listen to YouTubers, or I don't pay attention to YouTubers and all these different things. There are dedicated YouTube channels that, are just entertainment purposes, watch me pack with ASMR, or, watch me thrift and all these different things. But there's others, like drop, little, time-saving tips and all these different things. So, you, like I said, you just need to take it with a grain of salt. There's nothing, if you're listing or you're photographing, there's nothing wrong with having a podcast on. I'm not saying our podcast, but like Pure Hustle podcast on the background, the stuff, people that actually, or Josh and John and the eBay Power Hour and stuff like that, to listen to what's going on. Because like I've said numerous times, if it's happening in the US now, it's only a matter of time before it trickles over here. So like you need to be ahead of the curve as well, especially as a small business owner. Like you need to see what's coming down range. Like you can't just be reactive. You have to have your stuff down pat. So I did it over a year ago. The bridge has been crossed.
Oh, good. That's good. That's having the little how the birds and bees talk,
Oh, okay. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Still talking about bushfires. So
no.
Morning, Fran Fines. Good to see you.
Morning, Fran.
Good morning.
My comment was more about attitude, willing to find answers for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's right. Like, I suppose it depends on the individual. Like, it takes a lot of guts to put yourself out there and ask a question, right? Like, I kind of subscribe to there's no such thing as a stupid question, only stupid people. But like I said, that if I know it's a one-off question, and it's like, like that person's had the guts to put it up there, because Facebook group, you can more often than not, it'll display your name of who you are and all these different things. I'll answer it with the with compassion and all these different things. But like I said, with that individual previously, when I was just asking question after question after question after question, where people that answered it and they just ignored them and just moved to cause it was almost like a troll, I would say. So
yeah.
Morning, Jen.
Morning,
Good
Jen.
to see you.
Good morning.
Just coming to see the chat now. If wondering if Octo has talked about the Australian that got eBay yet, as the post earlier in the week. Yeah, I did. So long story short, I'm sure they're a nice person, but they're completely incompetent at everything they do. Yeah. So, like I was saying a bit earlier,
watch this spot for the video coming up.
Yes, I'm waiting for my green screen, which should be arriving today, because I've spliced the video up as much as I want to get the content of it. So I just need to do my little talking points. But like I said, I'm not having a go at him in particular, even though every fiber of my body and my suit wants to do otherwise. It's more of a case to more of an instructional video, because like I said, that I see it so much in the Facebook groups and Reddit posts and all these different things that that people just don't think about the ramifications. And this guy, like I said earlier, Jen, that 2% maximum is the defect that eBay will let you have. This guy had 23%, and
that's
then
huge.
eBay messaged him a month ago. The video is about 4 or 5 months old, right? So we're probably looking at about 6 months old. It's the only video I could find on the subject, but the eBay messaged them a month before and say, hey, look, your account's in Upship Creek, fix it. Then what I could only assume that he keep cancelling orders, and eBay had no, and then, like I said, that he did no due diligence. He didn't work out what the hell's going on. He wasn't, on the platform on a regular basis, but it's eBay's fault. So he didn't have any redeemable qualities, which is, I'm sad to say. They got banned. Well, hopefully I get banned soon. I just read through the comments to see Octo's entertaining responses. Which one was that on my? So a 5-hour driving video coming up, Blake?
No, you wouldn't have wanted to hear what was going to come out of my mouth if I turned on the camera that day. I'll tell you that.
I was about to say, has anyone in the chat checked out Heckin' Steve? He's a American YouTuber. You've heard of him? Oh, yeah,
I just love the name.
Definitely, if he's a bit, if you think Trash to Cash is a bit spicy, I probably wouldn't check out this channel. He doesn't hold back, and he goes for the throat on a couple of resellers, but he pretty much holds people to an account. And pulls, my personal stance on the guy is that he jumped on a popular topic about 12 months ago. That had already been done to death, because there was a video game store in America that it's called DK Oldies. If you look at those, there's about 4,000 videos about how shammy they are. So this guy jumped onto that bandwagon, and he's obviously found himself a new niche where he's basically tearing into resellers. Agree with most of what he says. Agree with most of what he says, but not all of it. So, like I said, take it with a grain of salt. He's very, very graphic. That's the best way to put it. So, by all means, check it out.
Keen to watch it. Keen to see.
Learn from your own mistakes. YouTube is there for entertaining. Yeah, and that's like I said, we try and give advice, but we market it as entertainment, because, like I said, don't carbon copy someone's store, because you'll fall over pretty quick.
Yeah,
can't get more transparent than that.
Yeah, and if you listen to us, you're listening to an octopus, an old lady, and a guy with a 70s porno mustache. So, I mean, there's not really... That's exactly right.
What are you doing here?
We might have to push you out to do all the chats with that, Blake. There are so many people making a nuisance of themselves in groups. I think those Wally YouTubers that get on the morning show. Yep. Maybe Heckin' Steve needs to take focus at those two people. Maybe you might get an anonymous tip off to a couple of Australian resellers.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Grumpy Granny and Blake.
Hey, that's enough.
Personally, I'd like for him to have a go at me, because I've already got my my comebacks in the chamber for it. Nobody's
been game to date.
Well, that's right. Well, like I said, that everyone's willing to have a go, but no one wants to say something. But I think those Wally YouTubers that go on morning shows telling everyone to give reselling a go has something to do with it. Yeah, and that's exactly right. And it's not just that individual or those individuals, because there's another one down here that does the same thing on radio. But they romanticize it, right? Like they go, well, you can live the dream. You can live on the, I was going to say the Gold Coast then, but you can live on the water. You can live on the water and, just go into 3 off shops and, make a killing, make $100,000 a year and, in profit, all those different things. But what you see in that respect is, it's not nowhere near as glamorous or as easy as that. Like, case in point, Blake. Well, Blake's not making enough money to get a razor, so look how bad it is for him. So.
I actually got called. I'm not surprised you're saying, because I got called out from Lisa last night. She sat down with me to eat dinner, and she's gone, "You're looking way too scruffy. You need to bloody shave that off." Rah, 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 rah. I'm like, yeah.
Maybe she likes 13-year-old kids. I don't know.
I just think you need to groom it a little bit better.
I do. I do, but I just stop being busy.
Driving 5 hours for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You need one of those old-fashioned. My dad used to have one. They probably still make them, electric razors with the little things on the top that go round and round.
I don't like them.
Battery-operated one and sit in the car as you're driving. Every time you pull up the lights, you could.
I used the old straight blade razor.
Yeah, okay. I actually use a lint remover.
Well, it could be interesting if you pull up at the lights and you've got your straight razor and you.
No, I don't do it in the car, Leanne.
No, but I'm just saying it would make it for interesting viewing.
Yeah, I'll do it today because I wish I could have a sick day, but unfortunately, self-employment doesn't give you that. So I think I'll take it a bit easier and I'll have a shave.
Just think of all that ad revenue you can make. I'm already up to about 2.5 cents on that short that I did yesterday. So I spent 3 hours doing a 15-second video and I got 3 cents. So look at me go. He loves resellers. He does bearded poker tuber.
And when you are full-time self-employed too, even when you've got no power for a couple of days, you find other things to do that will work in your favor for later. Yeah, I've been stacking jeans.
Inventory stock taking. That's if you've got no power and you got daylight, you do that.
Yeah, and if you've got a death pile, flat. Oh, that's all I pretty much did. I flat stacked all my clothing, so it's all ready to go. It's all pressing itself, so no ironing or steaming. Well, I'll say 99%. I won't have to iron or steam anything. There might be the odd linen thing that needs just a little touch up. So it'll be ready to go. It's all in piles. Pick it off the pile and take a photo.
You like the old Western stuff, don't you, Leanne? Like your old Wrangler shirts and stuff like that. I found something yesterday, actually, that was quite nice. I did pick it up. It was an old Panhandle Slim pearl snap shirt. It was really nice, actually. I'll have to show you one. I really liked it. Yeah.
Did it have a Lurex thread through it?
Hey?
Did it have a Lurex thread through it, like a metallic thread that went through it?
Yeah, it does on the back, at least.
Oh, nice.
I think so. I'll show you a picture later. Yeah, it was nice though.
Yeah, I still have no idea what a panhandle pearl snap. What is a brush popper is? So if anyone in the chat, if you can tell me what it is, I'll find a link. Send it to me. Heck and Steve is doing a live chat with Phoenix Resale tonight. It should be spicy. Yes, I've actually got that on the notify list. So that starts for them in Australia. That starts at 1 p.m. So
okay,
cool.
So
needless to say that he's not a fan. He's not a fan of Phoenix Resale. He's not a fan of Philly Flipper, and he's also had a swipe at American Arbitrage, so Carrie. But I think Carrie kind of got back into his good books by pretty much saying, "Hey, that was funny." So yeah.
First video I saw on the thing was Philly Flipper is reseller scum. So I was like, oh, he's that kind of guy.
yeah. Like I said, he is quite graphic. If you can't handle Jada, Jada's got nothing on this guy. So that's it.
Okay.
Good to know. You've been warned. But yeah, he wears more clothes than Jada. So if that's your only issue with Jada, you should be right with this guy. Well, Octo is quite admire the Trash to Crash crew. Well, I was admired by 2 of them. The other one was a bit awkward.
Yes. Well, the extra, yes.
That's right. Maybe one-on-one interview with old mate Octo. Yeah, well, that's right. I could do that. I don't think he'll come back to me, but Blake Ness has started a GoFundMe page for a razor.
Yes, I need $5 million. That's going to be the target amount. I think that'll do it. I reckon.
Well, that's like, go back to my beloved Heckin' Steve, because he's flavor of the week for me at the moment, is that he was actually having a go at another YouTuber that wanted, kind of a GoFundMe set up for $50,000 for him and his mate to do an RV trip around America. You could you could donate $300 for him to have a phone call with him for 15 minutes or something like this. So I think we need to. Yeah, so I was binge watching them this morning, so maybe that's what's put me in the mood.
Yeah.
Amazing, the tone changes when there's a ring on the finger.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say that. He's got a ring on the finger. She thinks she can bully me now.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Correct.
Just Ed Lace. Well, hello. Welcome.
Good morning.
Oh,
hello, Media Picker. It's good to see you.
Good morning, Media Picker.
Is this the same Media Picker that used to stop in for Uncle Wayno when he used to do his day lives? I think I recognise the name. From the US.
Believe it is.
He has an
Dan
imaginary
Mars.
vocabulary.
Hello.
Yeah, so he does. Yeah, like I said, he's quite. Not graphics the word, like I suppose that you can, when he says stuff, you can picture it quite clearly. I can't think of the word to condense that, but quite entertaining. Yeah, like I said, that. Come on, Blake, you do the cat work of the shirt. Potential buyers are online. That's right. You got an audience.
You don't want to see that.
Audience right here, ready to go.
Oh God, you don't want to see that.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, you're Cindy's mum. Okay, well, it was good to have Cindy on last week. Yes, it's good to see
that was Cindy.
Cindy was, she was a pleasure last week. She's more than welcome to put back on. When Blake's probably dying of calamari 19, we'll probably have Cindy back on.
Yeah.
Yes, that's good. Excuse me. Yeah, the same one from Wayno. Well, it's good to see you again, mate. It's still. I'm going to say it's selling DVDs. Because I remember what your landscape looked like. I know what your room looked like, what you're reselling out of, but I just couldn't remember what you're selling. So, yeah, that's good. I don't know. What else do you want to talk about, Blake?
Me? Oh, I don't know. Not a lot.
What about you, Lee?
I've got nothing to say.
I want to have a whinge. What's grinding my gears? Everybody ready? Right.
Time.
What is grinding my gears is not the fact that the power went out, but the fact that Telstra has the audacity not to worry about the people when their battery backup on their tower goes out and you leave a whole community without any form of communication, because we can't any longer plug that phone into the wall and make a phone call on a landline, because we have to plug the phone into our modems, which, aren't working because the power's out. And you don't bother to come and set up a generator at the exchange, which you used to do, because I used to see it there because I live up the road. So don't tell me you didn't, because you used to. It is not right. You cannot leave a whole community without any form or communication or way of getting in touch with people in an emergency situation. Not on. Telstra, fix it. And I will say, because
Optus, Reseller Octopus.
Optus was still going.
Me off.
Yes,
see that?
Good.
Help.
Optus was still going. They were able to keep things going for the whole time. Telstra did not. So, there's no excuse. It's just absolutely not on. Yeah.
Well, I got serious Grandpa Simpson vibes from there, but good. Old people yelling at clouds, I'm all for it. But so if you're out there, Telstra watching, the CEO, which I no doubt watches a Reselling Octopus, take heed. You've got the cranky community of 16 people who've Donald after you. So
yep.
Yes, but no, it's definitely. You think, especially.
Well, it wasn't just us. It was all, but over the entire state, it happened. Bendigo, people in Bendigo had nothing, and. The CEO of Telstra gets on and says, "Oh, but you can still dial 000." You won't believe what I knocked over, but anyway, it had a lid on it. It's fine. What you knocked out? What was I saying? Yeah, they were saying that you could still try to dial 000, but people couldn't. It wasn't working.
No.
Damn, I
And
should have gone
as
on a
much
robbery
as,
spree.
I was about to say, as much as I make jokes about it, especially when bushfires are around and natural disasters and stuff like that, you probably need to make sure that you have some line of communication going on.
Mm.
Cool. All right, still pushing CDs mainly. I'll start a YouTube channel. I have to keep. We got some videos up there. I'll have to check it out. I know
Wow.
you chatted about it when we were on Wayno's. Oh, what was that? Probably about 6 months ago. Wayno hasn't. If I hadn't seen Wayno recently, I think it would have fallen over. Nelson's probably started eating him, but I think it was for his watch hours he needed to get up. Okay. All right. We'll see you again next time.
Bye.
But everyone has mobiles. It's just not power to charge them.
But the mobile tower wasn't working. The backup on the backup battery on the mobile tower worked for 3 hours after the power went out, and then it stopped.
All right, I'm going to
and that was my point. It's not the point that the landlines don't work. It's the point that they just let the battery run out on the tower and then didn't do anything to replace the battery or put a generator there to power it. Nothing.
So I'm going to block Recommerce Dave because he set her off again. You can have your home phone in the regional areas have a PSTN on copper. Cell tower sites were not designed to operate on battery for extended periods of time. Oh, okay.
No, and I'm aware of that.
Where's Shane when we need him? Where's Shane when we need him? He knows what's going on.
Yeah, he knows what's going on.
Telstra is living up to their reputation. Yeah. I think, I'm not going to get into the politics of selling off public assets for private business and what potentially goes wrong with that. But all the country have generators, don't they? Yeah, the country people have generators. They got horse and carts. Horse and carts.
Yeah, I was going to say, she just jumped on horseback and ridden to your next town that had some power.
Yeah. Actually, to tell you the honest truth, I do have a generator and it is out in the shed. However, it hasn't been used for well over 12 months. So I know for well I can't just go out and start it up because I would need to actually clean it out and put new fuel and, all that type of thing in it. So,
Well, that's good. So anything else you want to moan about before we go, Leanne?
No, that's it.
That's real good. I can't think of anything else. But I suppose recapping what my grievances were for today was just basically, like I said, that do a little bit of research. There's I'm not saying that people won't answer your questions, and just try and work out the validity of the people answering your questions as well. Like, for example, if I'm going to send off a Skylander and then someone tells me to send it in a stamped envelope or something like that, use your common sense kind of thing. So that's all I have to say. Oh, no, couldn't help myself. I thought, Leanne just went on her little barrage, and I thought I'd go around it. Are you moaning about Telstra? Are you moaning about Telstra? Yeah.
I don't have the other chat up, so all I see is Octo tired, Octo scared. Octo.
I've got the other chat up here, so I can see what it is. Climate change,
There's a movement happening. There is a local movement. I'm getting a movement here going, and I know other communities are too, to make sure that this stops. And plus, I went out and bought a bloody Optus SIM card for my phone as a backup.
So you're coming to the dark side?
Nope, only as a backup. Well, it's one of these AMASIM ones, AMASIM thingies, because they're one of the few that don't steal your data if you don't use it in a certain period of time. It just keeps rolling over. So
and we're proudly sponsored by AMASIM, so make sure you check out our links below.
I'll take that. Give me a sponsorship. I'll promote you.
Right. Well, that's exactly right. But anyway, I think that's it for us for another week. We bitched and moaned and carried on like pork chops this week, and we will be doing part 3 next week, and I will be discussing. I'll just drop something over myself. Oh, hang on, wait a second before I go. Anyone that's close to a business hub, these Australia Post have deleted this item. It's kind of like a bubble wrap / sealant thing. So if you sell books, you can put it in this. I really don't see the point of it because you've got small satchels and all those different things. Put it in those. But if it's like a bubble wrap substitute, I suppose you could say. Australia Post has deleted that. So if you live near a business hub, like Australia Post owned, not a franchise, they are to dispose of them. So dispose of them means they give them out for free. So if they pay for them, ask for them next time you're there. I haven't used them. I've just got them just to beat the kids around the head with. So I can't comment on the usefulness of them, but if they've deleted it after 3 months of having it in stock, I don't think they do very well. They gave me some for free. Well, I got 4 for free. So they just asked me if I promised not to come back in, they'd give me some stuff for free. Yes, but yes. Anyway, I think that's it for us for another week, Leanne and Blake. Thank you very much for coming on. And like I was saying, that part 3 will be coming out on Tuesday. We still have to work out when we're going to record that, and we'll be also talking about a business thing that I'm setting up this year as well. So, like I alluded to it either the last part or the part before, I don't know, but a little bit of a side project. So I kind of want to do a running YouTube series about how this business runs and all these different things. So I'm going to do that. We'll talk a little bit about that in that episode as well, just almost like a passive income. So anyway, we'll see you again next time. Bye.
Bye.